Experience real life because you're worth it.
Hi, it's Verna with Real Life. Thank you so much for joining me for part 2 of A River Runs Through It, Vlogging and Storming and your pal V. Last week, I took you on a brief tour in one of the hardest hit neighborhoods in Fort Bend. We saw firsthand some of the debris and what others are storming through. So this week, I want to help you out just a little bit more by providing, one, some financial assistance information, as well as how do you labor through demolition. And really, this is a traumatic experience. So how do you labor through your emotions? Financial assistance. There are conventional and unconventional resources that are out there to help you weather through this storm. Okay, so let's talk about the conventional. Now, this by no means is an exhaustive list, but it's just a couple of more resources to throw into your toolbox of assistance. One thing that people probably already know of is FEMA. We did go through a natural disaster, so FEMA is here to help. Now, it's not that easy and automatic that FEMA is going to help you. There are some criteria that you need to meet to be able to help. So FEMA is definitely one source that you can use. You can go ahead and get registered with them, and then you can move on. So while you're working on FEMA, you also want to reach out to your insurance company. Now, it does not matter if you had flood insurance or not. You want to make sure you reach out to your insurance company, because if you own the home, chances are you had homeowner's insurance. And so you want to get whatever claims that you can claim, regardless if it's a nominal fee or not, but you want to just go ahead and start that process. And you want to protect yourself for later, because they do have a stake in that investment as well. All right, so we talked about FEMA, we talked about your homeowner's insurance or your insurance company. And the next one I would say that's a very conventional thing to do is reach out to the United Way. Now, the United Way is a very commonplace. People, you probably have already heard of them, but they're there to connect you with local resources that are out here to support you. It can be monetary, it can be food, shelter, clothing, whatever it is, they can connect you to those people, to those resources that are out there. All right, so then another conventional method that you can think of, and maybe people did not think about this, is your local small business association has loans that are out there, and these are low interest loans that last for a long period of time. And so what this can do is help you to, revamp your situation, really tie these dollars into where you need them to go. Okay, so those are some conventional resources that you can tap into. Some unconventional things. You want to talk to your local church, either the church you belong to or a church that is close to you. The reason being is when devastation like this occurs, these churches have probably started off looking to connect you to resources. And one of the hardest things to do is find the people that actually need those resources. So check with your local charity or your local church or your church that you attend to, and they might have some resources there for you as well. All right. Another conventional thing to do is, okay, so we're here in Greater Houston area, and the majority of the homes that were hit did not have flood insurance because they weren't in a flood zone. So what do? Well, your employers know that that's the case. So some employers have taken upon themselves to actually give or even collect funds to distribute out to their employees. It might be nominal in nature, but in a time of devastation like this, every dollar counts. So check your local churches. Definitely ask your employer. All they could tell you is no, they have nothing, but maybe they do. And that, when you start adding these things up, it can start digging you out of the hole that you might be in. All right. So those are some conventional and unconventional methods. Now let's just talk about laboring through. How do you labor through demolition? Whenever you have a disaster like this, what happens is a lot of resources start pooling in. You have contractors and vendors that are coming from all around the United States. And while that's great, it also brings in people who are going to lurk or really take advantage of the situation. So when you're talking about your contractors, ask for some quick referrals. I understand that time is of the essence. You may not have time to do all that, but go that extra step because it will pay off later on. Keep your receipts. Keep your receipts. Keep your receipts, okay? In silence. Keep your receipts. One, this is great for insurance purposes. Two, it's great if you are looking to purchase another home because you want to make sure that no mechanic can put a mechanic lien on your home and stops you from moving forward, okay? And then third, when tax time comes around, who knows what the new bill is or who knows what's going to be going on there, but I just can guess, right, that they are going to have some form of way to ease the burden. And so you want to make sure you keep your receipts. Keep your receipts. Keep your receipts. Yeah, I'm saying it again because it's that important. In silence again? Okay, you get the point. All right, so that's laboring through. Check your contractors, ask for referrals. Already suggested on the other tape how you can pull together as a neighborhood one street at a time and tackle some of those things. Try to avoid doing a lot of things yourself unless you're an actual contractor and get it done. Do know and be patient. These contractors are working day and night, day and night, day and night, trying to revamp the system. Okay, so when it comes to laboring through your emotions, okay, this is a very traumatic experience. And it's one thing for us to understand that people experience trauma in various different ways, and how and what they do with that trauma is different as well. So you want to make sure that you're patient, and the timing of how they deal with this trauma could be 2 months, it could be right now, it could be a year from now, you just never know. So you want to pay attention to your family members, especially little children who could be experiencing a heavy traumatic experience, and it shows in their schoolwork or it comes out in school. And just as a marriage, this could be very traumatic and it can really put some stress on your marriage. So you want to pay attention to some emotional cues out there and provide support as much as possible. Allow yourself to mourn the loss. Take a break from the news. A lot of times the news just doesn't give you enough of a break, and you just keep seeing this and reliving the trauma. So definitely take a break from the news. Another thing you might want to consider doing is asking for support from either a local group or family members that are out there. And for those of you who know family members who may not be so easily eager to ask for support, just keep checking in on them and see what do they need. So support is very key in getting through these emotional times. Another thing you want to consider is engage in healthy habits. Stress is harder to overcome when you are picking on unhealthy habits. That includes avoiding making critical life decisions while you are experiencing a lot of stress. And then finally, one thing to help kind of break down the stress that it's having on your life is just establish or reestablish your routines, especially when it comes to kids. The more they feel comfortable and supported and that things are back to normal, the better they are to manage that stress. So these have just been a couple of different things. You're vlogging and storming with your pal V. This is Real Life. Thank you so much for joining me for part 2 of A River Runs Through It.